And as you can see the slide, tense and time colon structures of languages. So how tense and time, they play a significant role in a narrative. But before that, we will try to understand these two concepts, tense and time. Now, very often we treat tense and time synonymous, but that is not the case. So these are two different words which are associated with two different concepts. So we should not confuse tense with time. Time is a continuum, but tense is a linguistic unit. So we use tense to represent time. The word time stands for a concept with which all mankind is familiar, divided into past, present, and future. As I said, that time is a continuum, but for our convenience, we have divided time into very neat three divisions that we have: past, present, and future. So this division we have made for our own convenience. Otherwise, time is a continuum. We can't just divide time so neatly, so cleanly. The word tense stands for a verb form or a series of verb form used to express a time relation. Most of the languages we use tense to represent time, and particularly with which grammatical element uh, we represent tense, is it is with verb and a verb form. When we say a verb form, then it includes the simple verb, like only a one verb form that you have, sometimes auxiliary verbs, modal verbs, and sometimes a complex verb that you have, a combination of auxiliary, main verb, and modal auxiliary. So, but largely all these grammatical expressions, they fall under verb. Tenses vary in different languages. Yes, so for example, in English language, we have only two tenses. We have present and past. And the future tense is a future time, sorry, the future time is expressed through modal auxiliary. So in this manner, they say that tenses vary in different languages, but that is not the case in the Hindi language. In Hindi language, we have three tenses. So this is the difference we are indicating, we are making, that across languages tenses vary. Tenses may indicate whether an action, activity, or state is past, present, or future. So past, present, and future we need to treat as a time scale that we have made for our own convenience, and tenses, linguistic unit that is used for showing an action that is in any tense, past, present, or future, activity, or state. Tenses may also indicate whether an action, activity, or state is, was, or will be complete, or whether it is, was, or will be in progress over a period of time. So likewise, we have different divisions. For example, we have simple present, we have present continuous, we have present perfect, and we have present perfect continuous. So this point indicates that why this division we have this division, because we want to show whether action, activity, or state will be complete, is or was, or will be in progress. So because we want to state things very specifically, that's why we have made this division among tenses. Now, when it comes to English language, because most of our examples and most of our examples will be from English language, as well as the examples of narrative and examples of poetic discourse or any literary discourse, they will from the English language. So our focus will be on English language here. And English verbs have only two simple tenses. Here we are focusing on two simple tenses. The simple present tense can be used of past, present, and future time. Now, this is quite crucial that generally we have this concept that we want to treat present tense means present time, but that is not the case. That thing we are indicating that though we say something in simple present tense, but that particular thing can be used of past, present, and future time. Now this mismatch is quite crucial, and you need to understand this thing, because in poems, in novels, writers, they they say something in present tense, but they mean it in either past, present, or future time. Now this is one very simple example, and this example is in the form of question and answer. And let's say speaker A raises a question: how does John earn his living? Now, this is a very simple question. How does John earn his living? And speaker B answers, he sells books. Now, this example is in present simple, and it is also known as present indefinite. But something that is in present simple or something that is in present indefinite, you also have one aspect associated with this, and this aspect is the habitual aspect. So when we say he sells books, that means what we are indicating, the verb sells is simple present tense, but this verb describes John's activity in the past, in the present, and in the future. That's why we call that sells is in present tense, but when it comes to aspect, which aspect, then it is an habitual aspect. So something that is, like if I say I go for a walk daily, so what it indicates, it indicates my habit, that I am doing it quite regularly. I was doing it, I am doing it, and I will be doing it. So that type of thing, though it is in the present simple tense, but it describes John's activities in the past, in the present, and in the future. That means he sold books last year, he is selling books now, and he will sell books in the future. This information is important, because when something is written in present simple, also known as present indefinite, then you must treat that particular thing not not in one-to-one relation with present time, but it has its association with the past, as well as it has its association with the future. Now, another example we have: the plane leaves from New Delhi to Jammu at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Now, we are talking about future time. We are talking about future time. 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon is a future time, and we are telling this thing now. The tick point is, now we are saying this thing: the plane leaves from New Delhi to Jammu at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Though the verb leaves is simple present tense here, it is used of an event in future time. So here you can also see a mismatch between tense and time, because present simple is not equal to present time here in this example. So this is again one important example, that through the use of present simple, you can also say something that is in the future time. So you need not to use auxiliary will, shall that you generally use for indicating future time, but very easily you can say this. Now we will discuss some examples that is in past tense, and we will see that this past tense, whether it indicates past time also, or it indicates present time or future time as well. I wrote a letter to my brother last week. It is an example of simple past, also known as past indefinite. But the time is also past time because we are talking about an event that is completed. We are talking about something, some activity that we did last week. I wrote a letter to my brother last week. So here there is one-to-one match, and there is no problem in understanding past tense is equal to past time. But these two examples are crucial. And why they are crucial? Because past tense in one is indicating present time, and in the second example, in the next example, past tense is indicating future time. But why and how? Because you see the nature of these sentences. They start with if. If I wrote to my brother now, he would receive the letter tomorrow. So again, wrote is past tense. Would receive is also, would is the past form of will. But because if is there, so if I wrote to my brother now, so we are mentioning a situation. We are mentioning a situation that's not real. If I wrote to my brother now, so it's assumption, assumptive thing we are saying. If I wrote to my brother now, he would receive the letter tomorrow, because we have not written a letter yet, but we are imagining, we are making an assumption that if I wrote a letter to my brother now, he would receive the letter tomorrow. So again, right, this past tense is used in the present time, because which adverb is showing you the present time? Now is showing you the present time. If I wrote to my brother now, he would receive the letter tomorrow. So this is the next example. If I wrote to my brother tomorrow, he would receive the letter on Tuesday morning. Again, like, because of this adverbial tomorrow, this indicates that past tense is used for future time. If I wrote to my brother tomorrow, I'm not saying if I will write to my brother tomorrow. I'm saying if I wrote to my brother tomorrow, he would receive the letter on Tuesday morning. So again, you can see that that how this information is quite crucial, because if you do not pay attention, and if you simply read that, okay, this is the past tense, and then try to understand the meaning, then obviously there will be a mismatch. So we can see, we have seen that, and we can see that present tense is used for all three times. Then past tense is also used for all three times. So there is no one-to-one match between tense and time. So this thing you need to make it very clear that these two are quite different things. Tense is linguistic unit, and time is a concept, a universal concept that we have. And tenses, they vary across languages. Now another example, I wish I knew where Mary was living now. Now again, now is important, and we are using past. I wish I knew. I wish I knew where Mary was living now, and it indicates the present time. The sentence means, what is the meaning of this sentence? I am sorry that I do not know where Mary is living. I wish I knew. That means I am sorry I do not know. So this is how structures are important, and the way they are written, like I wish I knew. If you try to find out the meaning based on lexicon, then it will get different meaning. But here the meaning is I am sorry that I do not know. Fine. So this is another example, important example. Now it is time. It is time. Children were in bed. Fine. Again, children were in bed. That is in past tense, but it indicates present time, because the meaning of the sentence is the children ought to be in bed now. Now ought to be, again the form of modal auxiliary, ought to. We have modal auxiliary form. So this is again an assumption we are making, that that where are children now, and children ought to be in bed now. It is time children were in bed. So this is like, it is time, it's time children were in bed. So past tense you are using, but you are using past tense for present time. So this is again one type of example that we have. So we also have this compound tenses in English. English has many compound tenses. And these compound tenses are made by combining two or more verb forms. So you have a simple verb form and you have a complex verb form. So this compound is again the complex type of verb forms. These combination may be concerned with time. Like I am writing a letter now. So again, this is an example of compounding. I'm writing a letter now. I have written 3 letters today. So one is in the continuous. Fine. So you have present and continuous. You have present and the perfect. He said he had been writing since 2 o'clock. So again, past perfect continuous. You have he had been writing since 2 o'clock. So when parts of the verbs be and have are used in this way, they are auxiliary or helping verbs. So we know have, and we know had, and we know am. Fine. They are auxiliaries, helping verbs. The auxiliary verbs do is used to form the expanded tenses, used in the formation of the negative and interrogative, and for the emphatic affirmative. So we have also do auxiliary when we use like please do come. When we say to someone, please do come, then it is an example of emphatic affirmative, because there is a difference between please come and please do come. So when we use do, then there is an emphasis here. Then do not go there. So again, it's a negative. Fine. And where do you live? Again, it's an example of interrogative. So this is quite simple. We use it quite regularly, and we have been using it in different expressions. But the crucial point is you need to make an understanding that there is no one-to-one match between tense and time. And present tense can also express something in future, something that is in past. At the same time, past tense can also express something in past, present, and future. So there are other verb combinations. Other verb combinations are not concerned primarily with time. So what other verbs combinations we are talking about? We are talking about modal auxiliaries. When such verbs as may, might, must, ought to, need, should are used in combination with other verbs, they are usually concerned with the way in which we look upon an activity or state. For example, whether it is something certain, probable, or possible, whether it is real or unreal, or whether it is something likely or unlikely to be realized. So we know like can we use for the ability. Fine. Could could we use for polite request. Could you pass me the salt. Fine. Then may, again some possibility. May, might, fine. Must is again the certainty. You must come. So when we say you must come, then it is some certainty. When there is some moral obligation, then we have you ought to respect your parents. So these type of things are there. So basically, they these verbs, they highlight, they talk about the manner. So they are not mainly concerned about the time, but the way in which we look upon an activity or state. So these are other verb combinations that we have. Now, since you have a little understanding of what is tense and what is time, now we will look at in this small narrative paragraph how tenses, they play a crucial role and how they represent time. I'm reading it for you. I had a scary experience when I was a young boy. One evening, while my parents were eating dinner, I was playing barefoot in the yard with my toys. Even now, I still remember the perfume of the flowers and the moisture of the grass. While I was sitting on the grass and playing with a truck, I looked up at the sky and my attention was distracted by the beauty of the stars. Then I felt something cold and smooth slide over my feet. I stayed perfectly still, but I looked down at my feet. Then I saw a snake slowly slithering over my toes. I felt terrible and afraid, and my heart beat very fast. After the snake moved away, I screamed to my parents for help. They captured the snake and took it away. The experience frightened me, and I never went outside barefoot again. So this one narrative paragraph is the description of an incident occurred in the past, and similarly in our life we also have such type of experience. Now, what is crucial here? If you see this paragraph, then you will find that this entire paragraph is in the past tense. So you have had, you have this auxiliary was, then you have was distracted. Fine, a passivized form of in the past tense. Then I screamed. So all such verbs, they are used in past tense because it is a narration of past event. But I don't know whether you have noticed it or not. There is one sentence that is in the present tense. Now, why this sentence is in the present tense? This sentence is not only in the present tense, but this present tense indicates present time as well. Now, you look at this sentence, and that is sentence 3. Even now, I still remember the perfume of the flowers and the moisture of the grass. Now, when can, or what is the reason why the writer is using one present tense indicating present time in this short narrative writing? So there is some reason. Writer is doing it, writer is doing it deliberately, very carefully. But the question is why the writer is doing this thing. That is quite crucial. To answer this, I would say writer is doing this because writer wants to have a connect between something that is past and how that past event is still relevant for the narrator. Even now, I still remember the perfume of the flowers and the moisture of the grass. So that means like the thing that happened in the past when the writer was a kid, a young boy, but still those memories are fresh in the mind of the narrator. So this one information is there, that when you analyze some short story, when you read a novel, you must try to find out that how tenses they play a crucial role, or how time is represented through tenses in that entire work. That is one thing. Now, in the previous classes, we have studied descriptive discourse. Now, how this descriptive discourse is uh, is maintained here in this piece. So, because when we try to describe, we saw that we need to use such type of verbs that are related to senses. And as I said, like what senses, which senses? Like smell, like touch, like visual, like hearing. So I had a scary experience. Again, it is like very a sensuous word, a scary experience. That means like we know like what is a scary experience. Now my parents were eating dinner. Now again, it is related to some senses, like eating dinner. I was playing barefoot in the yard with my toys. Even now I still remember the perfume of the flowers. Now this perfume of the flowers is again related to your smell sense. And the moisture of the grass, when you touch the grass you can feel the moisture. Again, it is related to touch. I was sitting on the grass and playing with a truck. I looked up at the sky, again a visual. My attention was distracted by the beauty of the stars, again visual. Then I felt something cold and smooth slide over my feet, again a touch. Touch is like, because when there is cold and smooth, then how can we know something is smooth? Or when we touch, then we know that something is cold or smooth. So this is like, or rough or hot. I stayed perfectly still, but I looked down at my feet. Again, this visual, eyes are used. Then I saw, again eyes, a snake slowly slithering over my toes. Again, a sensation, a touch here is mentioned. I felt terrible and afraid, and my heart beat very fast. Again, this is a type of a description. My heart beat very fast. We know how heart beat slow and fast, and when heart beat slow and fast, because it's a scary experience. Something frightening happens in this accident, in this incident. After the snake moved away, I screamed. Again, this voice element is mentioned. Again, this is quite a description related to senses. I screamed to my parents for help. They captured the snake. Again, once you capture something, again it is related to touch, and took it away. The experience frightened me, and I never went outside barefoot again. So this is a very short paragraph, a small piece of writing that we have. But still you can see that how the narrator very carefully used different tenses, like deliberately using one sentence that is in the present, that indicates present time. Present tense indicates present time, and rest of the sentences, they were in the past tense, indicating past time. But the descriptive discourse, it's not simply a narration, it's not an information that we have, but you have a description where 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 the words, they are selected carefully so that they can represent different senses, they tell about different senses. So this is for the day, and I stop here. So if you have any question or doubt,